Hey everyone, welcome back to the show.
Hello, hello. We are so happy you're here today.
Alice, I have a question for you, a very important question.
Ooh, I love questions. What is it, David?
When was the last time you experienced true silence? I mean, really, truly quiet.
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess maybe when I'm asleep. Even then, my brain is probably making noise.
It's harder than you think, isn't it? Our world is full of sounds.
It is. Sometimes I feel like I'm constantly surrounded by noise. Traffic, music, people talking, even just my phone buzzing.
Well, today's episode is all about that. Our reading passage is titled, Why We Need Silence.
Why we need silence. That's interesting. Just from the title, I'm already wondering, will it talk about how noise affects our health, or maybe how silence helps us think better?
Great guesses, Alice. It could also explore different ways people find silence, like in nature or through meditation. Maybe there are even some surprising benefits we don't usually think about.
I love that. Let's dive in and see what the article actually says.
Today, we're not just reading about silence, we're also going to learn 8 powerful reading skills. These skills will help you understand any text better, faster, and with more confidence.
So, whether you're listening on a busy street or in a quiet room, just relax. This is for you.
Here is what we will do today. In Part 1, we read the passage together. In Part 2, we learn the 8 skills. In Part 3, we do a quick review. And in Part 4, we practice together with real questions.
4 parts, 8 skills, and a lot of quiet time. This is going to be a good episode.
Let's start. Okay, welcome to Part 1. This is the reading passage. The title is Why We Need Silence.
Don't worry about the title yet. We will explain everything as we go.
I will read each paragraph slowly. After each paragraph, Alice will explain the main idea in simple English, B1 or B2 level. Then we move on.
Think of it like watching a movie with subtitles, but for your ears. Ready? Let's read.
Humans are very sensitive to noise, and for good reason. From an evolutionary perspective, sounds give us vital information, helping us navigate the world and avoid danger. Our blood pressure goes up, muscles tense, and glands release hormones that prepare us for fight or flight. In the short term, this is a good thing. When we are exposed to too much noise over the long term, however, those responses can lead to a multitude of health issues, from sleep disturbance to even cardiovascular disease.
Okay, let me explain that in simple English. Humans react very strongly to noise. This is because, in the past, sounds helped us find danger. So, when we hear a loud noise, our body gets ready to fight or run away, like our blood pressure goes up. This is good for a short time, but if we have too much noise for a long time, it can cause many health problems, like not sleeping well or even heart disease.
2 words here. Sensitive means easily affected by something. So very sensitive to noise means we easily feel the effects of noise. And multitude means a very large number of something. So a multitude of health issues means many, many health problems.
Multitude. Many, many. Say it with me. Multitude.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has recently called excessive noise an underestimated threat to public health. A report from the European Environment Agency concluded that noise was an ongoing and widespread issue in Europe, with at least 1 in 5 people consistently exposed to levels considered harmful to health. There are no earlids that can protect your brain from noise, says Nick Antonio, an acoustic consultant.
Great. Paragraph B tells us that the World Health Organization, the WHO, thinks too much noise is a big danger that people don't take seriously enough. Also, a study in Europe found that noise is a very common problem. About 1 in 5 people there hear dangerous levels of noise all the time. It's like we can't close our ears, so the noise always gets in.
Underestimated means people think it's less important or dangerous than it really is. Widespread means happening or existing in many places or among many people.
So, a widespread problem is a common problem. That's a good one to know. So, quick recap before we move on. Paragraph A was about how noise affects our bodies. Paragraph B, which we just read, is about how big this noise problem is, according to experts.
The good news is that several cities have been working to turn the volume down. One of the first to do so was London. By providing recommendations for quieter buses, reducing noise from roads, and also controlling noise from aircraft, they were able to make the city quieter, says Antonio. Other cities have introduced noise-reducing road coatings, for instance, alongside greenery that muffles sound. Some solutions are more specific. Washington, D.C.'s ban on petrol-powered leaf blowers came into effect recently, while in New York City, legislation has been approved to fine people who modify their vehicles to make them noisier.
Okay, this paragraph gives us some hope. It talks about how cities are trying to make things quieter. London suggested quieter buses and worked on reducing noise from cars and planes. Other cities are using special road materials or planting trees to block sound. And some cities are getting very specific, like Washington, D.C. banning noisy leaf blowers, and New York City fining people who make their cars louder.
Recommendations means suggestions or advice. Legislation refers to laws or a set of laws.
Quick question for you. No pressure, just have a think. Does this paragraph focus on the problems of noise or the solutions?
The answer is the solutions. It's all about how cities are trying to fix the problem. If you got that right, nice one. Researchers are also seeking to understand what aspects of silent experiences are most beneficial to our health. One of the best researched is the flotation tank, a light-proof, soundproof tank of salt water in which a person floats as a form of deep relaxation. When you don't have external sensory stimuli coming in, the brain tries to fill the void to make sense of this dark and silent world, explains Justin Feinstein. In these tanks, some people can even hear the sound of their eyes blinking, says Feinstein. But it is the ability to focus on the breath that helps people reach a relaxed or meditative state.
This paragraph talks about how silence can be good for us. It introduces a special tool called a flotation tank. Imagine a dark, quiet tank of salty water where you float. When there are no outside sights or sounds, your brain starts to create its own. Some people can even hear their own eyes blinking. But the most important thing is that it helps people focus on their breathing, which leads to deep relaxation.
Sensory stimuli means things that affect our senses, like sights, sounds, smells. Void means an empty space or feeling of emptiness. To further explore flotation tanks as a therapeutic tool, Feinstein and his colleagues recruited 50 people with a variety of conditions related to stress and had them answer a questionnaire prior to and following a flotation session. Participants reported decreases in muscle tension, pain, and symptoms of their conditions after a single 1-hour float, alongside an increase in feelings of relaxation and overall well-being. Float sessions uniquely decreased activity in the default mode network, a collection of brain regions commonly linked with depression.
So, this paragraph gives us scientific proof. Feinstein's team did a study with 50 people who had stress-related problems. After just 1 hour in a flotation tank, these people felt better. They had less muscle pain and felt more relaxed and happy. Another study showed that floating in these tanks actually changed brain activity, reducing activity in a part of the brain often connected to feeling sad or depressed. So it really helps.
Therapeutic means having a healing or beneficial effect. Uniquely means in a way that is special or different from others. Neurobiologist Tal Dotan Ben-Susan is also an advocate of silence as a therapy. When we find ways to be quiet, we are not only quiet in our environment, but quiet in our inner selves, she explains. This allows us to be more aware of what is happening around us. When people don't want silence, it can be very distressing.
Advocate means a person who publicly supports or recommends a particular cause or policy. Distressing means causing anxiety, sorrow, or pain. Upsetting.
Eric Pfeiffer, a psychotherapy researcher, also concedes that some people may not benefit from silence, particularly those who are in a heightened state of stress. He also believes complete silence isn't necessary. In a recent study, he found that participants reported more relaxation and less boredom when they sat quietly in an outdoor garden compared with a completely silent room. Second, Pfeiffer believes we don't need a lot of silence to gain benefits. You don't need to spend hours in silence, he says. It is likely better to have more frequency of silence for a few minutes at a time than a longer period of silence only once a week.
This last paragraph from researcher Eric Pfeiffer adds more ideas. He agrees that silence might not help everyone, especially if they are very, very stressed. He also says that you don't need total silence. Actually, people felt more relaxed in a quiet garden than in a completely silent room. And you don't need a lot of time in silence. Short moments of quiet, many times a day, are better than one long period once a week.
Concedes means to admit that something is true or valid after first denying or resisting it. Frequency means the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular period of time or in a given sample. Okay, that is the full passage, 7 paragraphs. Let's quickly remember the structure in case your mind wandered anywhere along the way.
Paragraph A. How noise affects our bodies. Paragraph B. How widespread the noise problem is. Paragraph C. How cities are trying to reduce noise. Paragraph E. What flotation tanks are and how they work.
Paragraph F. Scientific studies showing tanks help stress and depression.
Paragraph G. That complete silence isn't always needed and short, frequent quiet times are best.
So, that was our reading passage. How did you feel? Did you catch most of it?
This last paragraph from researcher Eric Pfeiffer adds more ideas. He agrees that silence might not help everyone, especially if they are very, very stressed. He also says that you don't need total silence. Actually, people felt more relaxed in a quiet garden than in a completely silent room. And you don't need a lot of time in silence. Short moments of quiet, many times a day, are better than one long period once a week.
Concedes means to admit that something is true or valid after first denying or resisting it. Frequency means the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular period of time or in a given sample. Okay, that is the full passage, 7 paragraphs. Let's quickly remember the structure in case your mind wandered anywhere along the way.
Paragraph A. How noise affects our bodies. Paragraph B. How widespread the noise problem is. Paragraph C. How cities are trying to reduce noise. Paragraph E. What flotation tanks are and how they work.
Paragraph F. Scientific studies showing tanks help stress and depression.
Paragraph G. That complete silence isn't always needed and short, frequent quiet times are best.
So, that was our reading passage. How did you feel? Did you catch most of it?
If you didn't catch everything, that is completely normal, especially if you were half listening while doing something else. The goal was never to understand every single word. The goal was just to get the general shape of each paragraph.
Noise effects, big problem, city solutions, flotation tanks, science proof, inner quiet, and short frequent silence. If you remember those main points, you have already done something very useful.
And now we are going to learn the 8 skills that help you read any passage like this faster and more confidently. Let's go to part 2.
Welcome to part 2. This is the main part of today's episode, the 8 reading skills.
8 skills you can use in your next IELTS exam or even in everyday English reading. Are you ready?
Let's begin with skill 1.
Okay, skill number 1, David?
Skill number 1. Skim the whole passage first before you read carefully.
Skim? You mean read it fast?
Yes, very fast. Don't stop for difficult words. Just get the general idea of each paragraph.
So for our silence passage, what's the general idea?
Paragraph A introduces how noise affects us. Paragraph B talks about the widespread problem of noise. Paragraph C shows city solutions. Paragraph D and E discuss flotation tanks. Paragraph F and G give different expert opinions on silence.
Oh, so it's basically problem, solutions, and different ways to find quiet. That's the same shape we just reviewed a moment ago.
Exactly. And once you know that shape, finding answers becomes much faster.
Why does that help so much?
Because when a question asks about a city solution, you already know that's probably in paragraph C. You don't need to search the whole text.
That makes a lot of sense. I always used to read the whole thing first. No more.
Here is a tip. When you skim, only read the first sentence of each paragraph. That sentence usually tells you what the paragraph is about.
Say this with me. Skim first.
Skill number 2. Always read the questions first before you scan for answers.
Wait, isn't that obvious?
You'd think so, but many students start reading the passage in detail before they even know what they're looking for.
Ah, so they waste time reading things they don't need.
Exactly. If the question asks about New York City fines, you already know which words to look for.
So the question guides the reading, not the other way around.
Perfectly said. The question is your map. Read the map before you start walking.
The question is your map. Say it with me. The question is your map. Okay, skill 3.
Scan for keywords. Don't read every word. Let your eyes jump to the important ones.
What counts as a keyword?
Names, numbers, dates, and unusual words. For example, in our passage, World Health Organization, London, Washington, D.C., New York City, DMN.
So if a question asks about specific cities, I just scan for capital letters?
Exactly. Your eyes move down the page quickly, like a camera, looking for the important things.
Like a camera. My eyes are a camera. I love that.
Numbers and dates are always easy to spot. If a question mentions 1 in 5 people, your eyes will find it very quickly.
You know, talking about noise, I've noticed how many people wear noise-canceling headphones in cities now. It's like we're all trying to create our own little silent bubbles just to get through the day.
It definitely shows how much we need that quiet, doesn't it? Okay, back to skills. Skill 4 is a really useful one. Watch for paraphrasing.
What do you mean by paraphrasing?
The question will almost never use the exact same words as the passage. It will use synonyms instead.
Can you give me an example from our silence passage?
Sure. The passage says multitude of health issues. A question might say many health problems.
Oh, multitude becomes many and issues becomes problems.
Exactly. Same meaning, different words.
That sounds hard.
It gets easier with practice, honestly. The skill is simply don't look for the same words. Look for the same meaning.
Say that again, David. I want to remember it.
Don't look for the same words. Look for the same meaning.
Don't look for the same words. Look for the same meaning. Say it with me. Skill 5.
Find the topic sentence. Usually, the first sentence of a paragraph tells you what the whole paragraph is about.
So in paragraph C, the first sentence says, several cities are working to reduce noise.
Right. So immediately you know this paragraph is about how cities are finding solutions to noise.
So I don't need to read the whole paragraph carefully unless the question is about city solutions.
Exactly right. The topic sentence is like a sign on a door. It tells you what is inside before you open the door.
Let's practice. Listen to this first sentence. What is the paragraph about?
Researchers are also seeking to understand what aspects of silent experiences are most beneficial to our health.
The paragraph is about how silence helps our health. That is paragraph D. Did you get it right?
Skill 6 is the one that trips learners up the most, but it's really just a small logic puzzle. True, false, not given questions.
Oh no, I always get confused with not given.
Everyone does it first. Here is the key difference. True means the passage says the same thing as the statement. False means the passage says the opposite. Not given means the passage simply does not mention it at all.
So not given does not mean false. It just means the passage is silent. No information.
Exactly. The passage is
is silent. Say it with me. The passage is silent. And here's a little trick this question type likes to play. Sometimes the statement says all or always, but the passage only talks about some. That's usually a false. The statement went too far.
Ooh, so watch out for words like all, every, always, never. Good tip.
Okay, let me test you. Here is a statement. All cities have banned petrol-powered leaf blowers.
The passage only mentions Washington, D.C. banning them. It doesn't say all cities, so that is false because the statement went too far?
Correct. Now try this one. Noise pollution causes more heart disease than sleep problems.
Paragraph A says noise can lead to sleep disturbance and cardiovascular disease, but it doesn't compare which one is worse. So the answer is not given. The passage is silent about which is more severe.
Perfect. You just used skill 6 correctly.
Skill 7?
Manage your time. If one question is taking too long, skip it and come back later.
But isn't it bad to leave a question unanswered?
It's worse to spend 5 minutes on one hard question and lose time for 5 easy ones.
Oh, so one hard question can cost you many easy points?
Exactly. Always guess something, mark it, and move on. You can come back at the end if you have time.
A good rule of thumb, roughly 1.5 minutes per question. If you're still stuck after that, move on and come back later.
And our last skill, skill 8, guess unknown words from context. You will never know every word, and that is completely normal.
Oh, that is so good to hear.
For example, imagine you don't know the word distressing in our passage, but the sentence talks about people who do not want silence finding it very distressing.
So I can guess distressing must mean something bad, like upsetting or painful. I don't need the exact definition. I just need enough to answer the question.
Exactly. Context is the words around the unknown word. Use those words as clues.
Say this with me. Use context clues.
And that is skill 8, and all 8 skills done.
Wow, 8 skills. That was a lot, but I feel much more confident now.
You should. These are real, practical skills that every good IELTS reader uses.
And the important thing is, these skills work together. Skim, read the questions, scan for keywords, watch for paraphrasing, topic sentence, true, false, not given, time management, context clues. They are a team.
All 8 working together. Let's go review them quickly.
Before we move on to part 3, David, where can students practice these reading logic skills?
Definitely check out IELTSlogic.com. It offers full reading passage breakdowns, listening practice, and speaking logic chain training.
That's awesome! Built by system architects to sharpen your analytical thinking. Visit IELTSlogic.com today.
Welcome to part 3. Quick review, no pressure, just a fun recap. I will say the skill number, Alice says the skill name. Ready?
Ready. I will remember all 8. Watch me.
Okay, Alice, I'm going to quiz you. Skill 1, what do we do first?
Read every word very carefully?
No, that's the opposite. Skim first. Get the big picture.
Right. Skim first. I knew that. Okay, my turn. Skill 2? Skill 2. Read the questions before you scan.
Good. What about skill 3?
Skill 3. Scan for keywords, not full sentences.
And skill 4? This is a big one.
Skill 4. Watch for paraphrasing. Don't look for the same words, look for the same meaning.
Excellent. How about skill 5?
Skill 5. Find the topic sentence in each paragraph.
Skill 6, the tricky one.
Oh, skill 6. Handle true, false, not given carefully. Remember, not given means the passage is silent.
Perfect. And skill 7?
Skill 7. Manage your time. Don't get stuck.
And finally, skill 8?
8. Guess unknown words from context. Use context clues.
8 skills. I think I got them all this time. Well, almost. You nearly said read every word at the start.
That one doesn't count. I was warming up. 8 skills reviewed, quickly and clearly.
Remember, you don't need to memorize the names. You need to do them. Skills are actions, not words. Alice, a quick reminder for our listeners before we head into part 4.
Yes, for complete reading sentence analysis, synonym replacements, and solution pathways, head over to IELTSlogic.com.
It's designed by IELTS experts to help you build clear logic. Check out IELTSlogic.com and boost your score. Now, the most important part, putting the skills into action. Let's go to part 4.
Welcome to part 4, practice time. We are going to use our passage about why we need silence. Remember the one about noise effects, city solutions, flotation tanks, and different expert opinions. And I will ask you real exam-style questions.
Try to answer before we give you the answer if you can. Say it out loud if you like. No pressure though. Just listening carefully works too.
After each question, we pause. Then we go back to the passage, look at the exact line, and explain the answer.
Question 14. Examples of strategies to decrease the noise that the public are exposed to. Which section contains this information?
Let's look back at paragraph C. It talks about London's quieter buses, noise-reducing roads, Washington, D.C.'s leaf blower ban, and New York City's fines for noisy vehicles. These are all clear examples of strategies to decrease noise. So the answer is C.
Question 15. Data indicating the extent of the problem of excessive noise. Which section contains this information?
For this, we go to paragraph B. It mentions the World Health Organization calling noise an underestimated threat, and specifically, it states that at least 1 in 5 people in Europe are consistently exposed to levels considered harmful to health. This 1 in 5 is the data showing the extent of the problem, so the answer is B.
Question 16. A description of physiological changes in our bodies when we hear sudden noises. Which section contains this information?
This takes us right back to the beginning, paragraph A. It says our blood pressure goes up, muscles tense, and glands release hormones that prepare us for fight or flight. These are all physiological or body changes, so the answer is A.
Question 17. Evidence that a relatively quiet environment can be more beneficial than a totally silent one. Which section contains this information?
Let's find this in paragraph G. It states, in a recent study, he found that participants reported more relaxation and less boredom when they sat quietly in an outdoor garden compared with a completely silent room. This is direct evidence that a quiet but not totally silent place can be better. So the answer is G.
Okay, let's try a different type of question now. This time, complete the summary. According to Justin Feinstein, flotation tanks allow people to concentrate on their own 18, which helps them relax and enables them to meditate.
For this, we need paragraph D about flotation tanks. It says, but it is the ability to focus on the breath that helps people reach a relaxed or meditative state. The key phrase is focus on the breath, so the missing word is breath.
Feinstein and his colleagues conducted an experiment in which 50 people who were all suffering from stress and related issues were given a 19 to complete before and after using a flotation tank. We find this in paragraph E. It states, had them answer a questionnaire prior to and following a flotation session. So the word they were given was a questionnaire. Participants reported a reduction in their symptoms after an hour in the tank, together with signs of relaxation and improved general 20.
Staying in paragraph E, the passage says participants reported an increase in feelings of relaxation and overall well-being. So the word that completes the sentence is well-being. In another experiment, the researchers had 48 people spend periods of 90 minutes either lying back in a chair or floating in a tank. Brain scans then revealed that those people who had been in a tank had decreased activity in parts of the brain associated with 21.
The end of paragraph E tells us, float sessions uniquely decreased activity in the default mode network, DMN, a collection of brain regions commonly linked with depression. The brain area was linked with depression. All right, we're on to our final set of questions. These are matching statements to people. Question 22. It is unpleasant and upsetting for people to be placed in a silent environment against their will.
Let's go to paragraph F, where Tal Doten Ben Susan is quoted. She says, "When people do not want silence, it can be very distressing." Distressing means upsetting and unpleasant. So the person is C, Tal Doten Ben Susan. Question 23. The trend towards creating quieter urban locations is likely to increase in the coming years.
This is from Nick Antonio in paragraph C. He says, I expect we will see much more of this in the future. He's talking about cities making quieter environments. So the person is A, Nick Antonio.
Question 24. When our body's senses are completely deprived of input, our minds compensate for this by creating the illusion of images and sounds.
This is about the flotation tanks in paragraph D. Justin Feinstein explains, when you don't have external sensory stimuli coming in, the brain tries to fill the void to make sense of this dark and silent world. This means the mind creates its own sensory experiences. So the person is B, Justin Feinstein.
Question 25. Even a short amount of silent time can have a positive impact.
This comes from Eric Pfeiffer in paragraph G. He says, you don't need to spend hours in silence. It is likely better to have more frequency of silence for a few minutes at a time. This clearly shows that short, frequent silence is beneficial. So the person is D, Eric Pfeiffer.
Question 26. External and internal quietness makes us more conscious of events occurring in our surroundings and helps us react appropriately to these events.
For this, we return to Tal Doten Ben Susan in paragraph F. She states, when we find ways to be quiet, we are not only quiet in our environment, but quiet in our inner selves. This allows us to be more aware of what is happening around us and what the situation may require from us so we can provide a more adequate response. This perfectly matches the statement, so the person is C, Tal Doten Ben Susan.
Okay, we just went through all 13 questions. David, let me ask, what skills did we actually use today?
Great question. Let's see. First, paraphrasing. So many questions used different words for the same idea, like strategies to decrease noise for recommendations for quieter buses.
Right, or physiological changes for blood pressure goes up, muscles tense.
Then, scanning for key words. Names like World Health Organization and Justin Feinstein helped us find the right paragraphs quickly, and numbers like 1 in 5 people.
We also used our understanding of topic sentences to quickly know what each paragraph was generally about. And for those summary questions, we had to be very careful to pick one word only directly from the text.
And of course, the logic of true, false, not given was crucial, remembering that not given means the passage is silent, not opposite.
So if you take one thing from today, it's this. The answer is almost never about finding the exact same word. It's about finding the same idea in different words.
Well said. Okay, let's move on to our closing. So that is it for today. 8 reading skills and a passage all about why we need silence.
Let's say all 8 one more time, fast. Skim. Questions first. Keywords. Paraphrasing. Topic sentence. True, false, not given. Time management. Context clues.
8 skills. Beautiful.
Before we go, say this with me. I have the right strategy.
I have the right strategy.
I have the right strategy.
Say it one more time if you like, because it's true.
Oh, before we go, one last fun fact about silence from our passage. Did you know that in a flotation tank, when there's no outside noise or light, some people can actually hear the sound of their own eyes blinking?
Imagine that, a whole new world of sound just inside your head.
Right? Okay, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.